What is good, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us once again on an episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm-Up Sessions podcast. And we have a special podcast for you guys today. Should be a fun one with some exciting new announcements. But first announcement, I'm just going to get out of the way. We reached 10,000 podcast listens this past Wednesday. And by today, it's already at 10,100 listens. So it's climbing up, and just a special thanks to you guys for tuning in, for jumping in on this podcast. All the feedback and all the responses, we always say, mean a lot to us, and we appreciate it. And I know 10,000 is not, the millions that other podcasters are getting, but 10,000 is probably it kind of feels surreal, if I'm being honest. Like 10,000.
I mean, there are a few caveats to that. The fact is, we added Anchor on halfway, episode 18, 17? Or am I wrong?
No. We added it probably a second or third episode.
Since we started?
Yeah.
Because it didn't hit Spotify till when?
I think second or third episode.
Oh, I thought we were at some point, we were just YouTube for a minute.
No, I think the first couple episodes, or maybe you were right. But I ended up, you're right, actually. You're right. It was deeper down. And then because I remember, I remember now I had to re-upload all the podcasts. That's true. Yeah, we did just start on YouTube. Man, that's crazy. Well, yeah, so then those numbers are a little off.
Yeah.
And that's also not counting 10,000, those 10,000 listens. That's not counting any YouTube listens.
Right.
So, and there's like a couple hundred of you, I think, that chime in on those podcasts on YouTube, which is awesome. But
honestly, I remember that because there was one person that sent me a critique and said, well, you're not really a podcast. You're just throwing up YouTube videos of you talking. And I was like, got to get on that Spotify. Got to get on that Apple podcast really quick.
What kind of feedback is that?
I won't mention the name. That person has like 3 or 4 podcasts.
Ooh, okay, never mind.
Never mind.
They're right. They're right.
Okay, whatever.
They're right.
We are just a YouTube channel, tutorial people, whatever.
Now we're here. Spotify, Google, Apple. I don't know, just about anywhere. Now Spotify has video, so we're now on Spotify and video. So that's exciting. But let's see what we have here for some batch brew. Speaking of batch brew, this has been, I love this ritual. I'm glad we started. This was from day one.
Right.
We literally had this at the roastery.
Always. Half the time we used to do QC before our roast.
Oh yeah,
a little batch.
True.
Just double checking. Like, are we sure? We needed a little more DTR in this coffee. Those used to be the conversation.
Yes. He'd always use more of that though.
This is nice. This is a dialed brew.
Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. Mm-hmm. And as it cools, it kind of gets a little better. But this is a new coffee. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple things that are dropping today as like a 10,000 listens celebration, but also the fact that, this actually accidentally came together on the same weekend. Right. The coffee and some of the other stuff we'll touch upon. But this is the return of our Indonesia Sulawesi from the village of Desa Tolajuk. Am I right?
That's right.
And this is like an exciting coffee for us.
Super exciting. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it now, right? Or should I talk about it instantly right now?
Folks, there's so much that we want to say. But let's keep it to a low. This is our second year partnership.
Yep.
It's an anaerobic red honey process coffee, whatever that means. But what it does mean is that it's a tasty Indonesian coffee.
Yeah.
This is not your classic wet hold coffee, which is like a predominant, very popular processing method. This is a little experimental for Indo, and that way it yields kind of a different flavor profile.
Yeah. I mean, big shout out to Sasola Coffee for the partnership.
Of course.
They were actually nominated for a COE, and they actually went all the way to top 5 in I think a Cup of Excellence Indonesia. So their coffee was great. One of their coffees sold for something like above $20 a pound, which is pretty big for insane. A Indonesian coffee, not a geisha, not like something insane, but the auction lots are super fun. Which big shout out to Sasola, like great job. When it comes to like I think job. Man, I don't want to dive in too deep. Yeah. But when it comes to like our vision and what we saw, like from the very beginning, for me, what I saw in Indonesian coffee, how I did that Brewers Cup competition in Jacksonville with an Indo coffee, had this vision to tie my lived experience in Indo with coffee on a specialty coffee level. That Sasola kind of reveals and sums up a lot of my dreams and visions already, which is quick.
I was literally just thinking about that actually the other day, like reframing success, and I'm like, actually, I mean, this is like a big deal what's already happening,
right?
But I remember cupping this coffee for the first time. This was 2 years ago, and I remember that cupping. It was in the kitchen, and I hit the coffee, and I was like, okay, this is not at all what I was expecting from an Indonesian coffee, and I want it. Yeah. We want some of that. And it was this rich stone fruit with some hints of apple acidity, some malic acidity that was just pleasant. It wasn't necessarily anything just like ridiculously overwhelming or bonkers, but it was just so solid, like a coffee that you can just always rely on to just hit the spot, And so this year, what are we tasting here in the cup?
Right now, just straight out of this batch brew. There is a different version of chocolatiness that is not traditional. That's why I think I threw on like cacao on there, because it's a much different chocolatiness that I'm enjoying right now. But it's also paired with a lot of like molassesy, like rich sweetness. But it's also very, very different. This coffee is unique. Like some of the flavor notes that I think we used to describe it may seem almost like a South American coffee. But the flavor experience is not the same as like a maybe traditional Guatemalan or a Mexican coffee. So it's much different. And then like you're saying, the acidity is very, very pleasant in here. It's not stupid big, like it doesn't take over everything. It's fairly balanced. I would also say, not to toot our horn, this is a fairly nice roast. Of this coffee.
No,
like I really agree. Like it's well developed. It has the rich sweetness. It has the nice big body, not like dark roast heavy body where it kind of lingers in an unpleasant way. This coffee just coats your mouth in a very, very pleasant way. But it's that not acidity coating, the sweetness coating, I think.
And it's like a mouthful of, what I'm getting is like some dried fruit. Like just dried fruit. I mean, we put on the bag dates. It has this like a rich dried fruit, and you're right, the body is thick on this thing. And I think might be unique to just Indonesian coffee. And when Tim, he brewed it a couple weeks ago, we let him try some. Tim works at a local cafe, by the way, and he brewed it. And the first thing that he said was, "Whoa, this packs a punch of dried fruit. It's just sweet dried fruit. It's pleasant, and I can see this coffee probably slapping on espresso, just versatile across the entire menu. There's something for everybody in this coffee, and I'm pumped.
If I had to guess, like what comes to my mind right now, this would be a slapper on AeroPress. I think it would be a super fun coffee to experiment on AeroPress. I should bust that out. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. This is excellent. So, folks, it's out this morning, the day the podcast airs, which is Saturday. If you want to get in on that, that's available for you at the website, MaryCoffeeRoasters.com. But which we will talk about more about this coffee and how it ties in, because there's a lot that we can say. But on top of that, we're dropping something very special. We're dropping a couple pieces of clothing. Number one, if you watched the last podcast, you've seen us both rocking the mirror trucker hat. A trucker hat is such a classic. I love it. We chose it because it was just like, it was just solid. Like, that's it. It's tried and true.
I mean, I push for bucket hats. You know what I mean?
That's true. I remember that.
Hats, but how many people do you see sporting a bucket hat and doing it well? Not many. I probably can't even, but
Friends,
I want him to be edgy.
In the comment section below, drop, would you wear a bucket hat, folks?
Yeah.
But that being said, I remember your trucker hat like 15 years ago. It had like the mesh back and then the foamy front with the couch on there.
Really?
It was like a girl. It was like a skateboard.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Girl. Yeah,
probably like
from Girl.
It was like something like that. It had like a couch on it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sounds like
it was iconic for me at least. It was iconic.
Or
but anyways,
was that the Bam Margera hat?
Maybe it was the Bam.
Yeah,
Margera
was it pink?
No,
pink and brown.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've always been rocking hats. That's one of the things I do.
What I remember is that it was a trucker hat, and trucker hats have just tried and true, time and tested. It's kind of like the new overshirts that are popping off nowadays. They're back. It's like the dads never stopped wearing them. It's tried and true. That's it.
For sure.
So it's a classic. So, folks, this hat I've been just wearing almost every day since they've arrived like 2 weeks ago. It's solid. It fits nice on the head. It's the material is a little more high quality, actually substantially more high quality, I think, than a lot of just the basic trucker hats. We have the embroidered mirror on the front. Embroidered because it's just more high quality. You're not going to get the screen printing washed off, that faded look on the print. It's there. It's there to stay.
A little backstory on that. The fact is, like, folks have been hitting us up and asking, like, just drop some kind of merch. Just drop something with your logo symbol and just go for it. And we've held off for a while. I think if within 6 months, folks were bringing that up. And we've held off because we wanted to make a product that we're really pumped about.
I agree.
And I think that's the story behind this hat is we actually started working on it last year, like early fall, late summer-ish. We started talking to folks about like the possibility of creating like a hat like that. But we wanted to make something, like I said earlier, was a little more substantial than just a screen print. That's why one of the first things that we decided on is we're going to do embroidery. Within that, there's always complications when you're trying to create with embroidery.
Yes.
One we learned is that thin lines, and y'all know our design, y'all know our logo. We have a lot of thin, fine lines. That's a big part of our branding. But that's super hard to pull off with embroidery. So we had to finagle it without losing our actual branding and create a design that we loved, but two, a design that practically fits on a hat.
Right.
So that was a holdup, but that's also that was our intention, is to make something that we would absolutely love
and wear and feel comfortable in it, feel good in it, and it looks clean with whether you're sporting something kind of a little hip or you just want to throw some like a cap on. It just works across the board. It's just a super great hat. So check those out on the website. And secondly, this is specifically for the podcast community. Once again, 10,000 listens is incredible. And honestly, we could not have done this without all of you guys. Even just like everyone just dropping comments in the comment section, sending us DMs, emails, just simply saying like, thank you for sharing your information. And the relationships and the community that we've built around this is just incredible. And so this is just a way for us to give you like a big thank you, but also a way for you to kind of more rep this community that you're a part of. You're a part of like hundreds of other people listening who are into coffee, who are coffee fanatics, enthusiasts, whether that's home brewers or, cuppers, or maybe you're starting your small roastery. Like we always get, messages of people just saying, man, I'm just starting like roasting on my bullet or something. Yeah. And I'm like, heck yeah, that's like exciting. And so right here on the t-shirt, very simple. It's the Coffee Roaster Warm-Up Sessions podcast. just the coffee roaster warm-up sessions. Logo just right here on the breast pocket. And it's clean, it's simple, it's basic. I put it on today for the first time and it's comfortable. It's not a janky material. Like this feels good. Like it feels like it feels good. That's, like you've definitely, I think all of us have worn like a t-shirt that it's like, I don't know if I,
it's not an undershirt with some print on it.
That's
the thing.
It's
like
actually
a quality shirt. On top of that, we have like very limited stock, I believe, because we got minimal. 3 different colors, right?
Yeah,
we got a black,
colors.
we got an oatmeal or the desert
it's
brown,
like a desert.
And then we also got the
gray.
This is more like a slate, like a gray
charcoal. I think that's what they call it. Yeah. If you're watching this on Spotify or on YouTube, you'll see I'm wearing the charcoal color. It's kind of like a gray, and then of course, we have the black and the. They all look great in their own way, kind of whatever you want to sport. So
I think one of my my heart behind creating this shirt like that for the coffee roaster warm-up session community is kind of a thank you back to our listening community, because I feel like majority of the folks who have been following us, who have been listening to the podcast, are in a very, very deep connection with us because you've been listening to our voice, you've been watching our faces on and off, and you've been buying our coffee. There's a degree of commitment that almost I want to kind of return the favor and be like, hey, the first shirt is this return thank you and commitment to you to say, hey, this is a t-shirt meant for the podcast listener.
Yeah,
because you've been with us for a while. 10,000 streams plus.
Yeah.
You've been with us for a long time. You deserve a t-shirt that represents that commitment.
For sure. Yeah. That's very well put. And so, pick one up. And then for the people who order this first week, so until the next episode airs, I haven't told Sergi this, but we're going to throw in a little treat in there with your t-shirt that you buy. Just there's a smart little extra thank you. The more the better. We're just here to serve y'all as best as we can, whether that's with information or with goods. But that being said,
I may log in under an alias,
anonymous to your address. Oh gosh, yeah. Well, one of the biggest things I think that for us, Mayor Rep, is reflecting what's good. I just had somebody, I was just in a meeting with a buddy of ours, Justin, and he was like, what's mirror? And every time somebody asks me that, I'm just I feel like I'm getting more in the groove of knowing what that looks like.
Right.
And for us, I think it's always been from the beginning is reflecting what's good. And reflecting what's good, whether that's our coffee quality, whether it's, the flavor profiles that we're roasting, how we roast it, how we source coffees. But also it's the sustainability aspect. I know these are buzzwords that everybody's tired of listening to, but the ethically sourced, the relationships that we're building, with producers, us forward booking Jorge Mendez's coffee from Guatemala is a commitment to there that we want to grow as the years go on. That also touches in with the Indo coffee, which we'll talk about a little bit, but it's really this, we want to reflect the good to the world. And especially in times like what we've experienced over the last 5 years or whatever, more than ever, I think the world needs more good to be experienced. And so for us, running a business, running the coffee roasting company, simply a platform to say here's a place that you can show that to the world. And partner alongside other people, podcast listeners, coffee drinkers, enthusiasts, to help spread that goodness around to people, whatever that looks like. And something about known supply, I think hits that home as well. I would liken it they're the clothing option of what we're doing with coffee.
Yeah. So the story goes back to when I was hanging out with Jono, Jono Warren. He was working with apps and a local Bellingham business who creates sustainable jewelry.
Which is a phenomenal. Again, reflecting what's good on an insane level with jewelry. Really beautiful.
It's insane. Anyways. I mean, they're a big deal. So, But we were hanging out at the local brewery, chatting, and he said the same things. Why don't y'all release a line of clothing, like some merch.
Yeah.
And I was like, everyone says that, but the reality is like it all is just not my vibe. Like I usually don't like the t-shirt material. I usually don't like the screen printing material.
Yeah.
It usually wears out and like shrinks and shrivels up after a couple of washes. I'm just not stoked on it.
Yeah.
And Jono was like, okay, I can fix that. Have you heard of these folks? Known Supply. And he pointed me in that direction. And as I was looking he was showing me all of their values. He was showing me the materials, everything they do. And as he was scrolling through the website, I was like, Mirror does that. Mirror does that. Mark and I are passionate about this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then get to the bottom and I see who they work with. And that, to me, that was confirmation. Yeah. And on that top list, I mean, there's like, Channel Island Surfing Company that I've loved for years and bought their merch. Then they had Verve. And I remembered one of my first companies that I loved their merch. Taylor and Kolb, my friends, who's also connected to Indonesian coffee. But anyways, they bought me a shirt from Verve that I wore forever. And I wore it not only because I enjoyed the design on the shirt, Verve just killed it, but I also enjoyed the materials of the shirt. And it just hit all the marks. Like sometimes a piece of merch just hits deep because it means a lot to you and it wears really well. Yeah. And that's when I was like, okay, we may need to exercise and think about this idea of dropping a line. So, big shout out to Jono also for pointing us towards Known Supply. But Known Supply just kills it. Yeah. They do all the right things. They basically align with everything that we do in coffee. And one of those things I think you already mentioned is the fact that they elevate the producer of their shirt or their hat or their materials. One of the things they do is the tag on the inside of the hat and the shirt. Actually, I think these tags right here.
Yeah, every single tag. Yeah.
Yeah, actually has a face of the person who made the shirt. Yeah. Who worked on the shirt. The tags in the hat actually have a name with a little line where the person wrote their name like with their handwriting. So the intentionality behind revealing the producer, shining the light on like fair labor, fair trade is on another level. Like I feel like we're aligning there,
Yeah, 100%. And they just do it so well. Everything on their website just shines with that. And really like, fair trade, sustainability, using organic materials, organic cotton, everything from like what you said, like making sure the person who made your clothes is actually like there's a face to the person who made your clothes. It's a big deal. It's not just a t-shirt. It's not just a piece of material that you put on yourself, but no, it has the fingerprints and the face of somebody who literally put that together, who literally handcrafted that from scratch, from nothing. And man, like the fair wages, we don't even have to start talking about the clothing industry, which is oftentimes just as problematic as the coffee industry with all these things. And they're just doing something super incredible. And so for us, it was just like a no-brainer, like just a bunch of yeses on the list. Yeah. It was like, it's ridiculous not to partner with anybody else but them. So, and that's really, like just so awesome that there's these brands and companies that we can use our financial buying power to inspire and encourage and to motivate, just good business, good practice, good people doing good things. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about them. And it's the quality also that comes through, which is spectacular. So
I'm stoked on it all around. The only thing I wish is we had some other ideas to do a whole lineup of a specific kind of quote unquote brand of merch that we wanted that didn't work. Just logistics didn't fall in. A lot of the material, a lot of the products that we wanted to create were out of stock. Yes. So with that said, this is a very limited run, but this also means that we love this kind of creative output. And we want to see what happens. Like, we want to see the response. We want to see, like, is this something we want to dabble in? Because we want to, outside of coffee, that's who we are. Like, we reflect what's good. That's the kind of lifestyle we want to live
Yes.
So brands and companies that do that similar lifestyle, it's not a matter of like, checks and making sure they fit in. And it's just a matter of passion. Like, oh, you're doing what we're doing? Sweet. Let's do something together.
Yes.
And that's a very, very big deal
Yes.
for us to find someone like Known Supply to partner with.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I love that you mentioned that. It's just like, it's just who we are, like the creative output, but also finding these brands or these people or these organizations that we can just partner with and say, man, we're on the same page. How can we just partner together to make this even more known or bigger? Because the world could use more good. That's it. It could always use more good. No matter how good or bad the world is, the more good, the better. That's the bottom line. And so, a big portion of like what they're doing is a lot of what we're really trying to accomplish and why we started Mir. I mean, their thing with like literally on the tag is printing somebody's face of the owner, and then on the inside of the hat is their name. For us, we're like, that's always been the case from the beginning. I remember when we first started designing our bags, our labels, and we said the producer's name has to be on there. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to put a face, a human to the product. We have to like let people understand that, hey, like, we get it. We're just brewing a cup of Joe, but there's like a person behind it. There's like, and not just in the States, it's like globally, and I think there's so much power to letting people know the individuals that are creating their, whether it's clothes or for us, that's their coffee, and so that's been super fun. And, at the end of the day, what we also want to do is, we just haven't been able to go to Origin. Yeah. But we want to shoot stories and films and take photos and portraits of these people who we're partnering with to bring them amazing coffee. Right. And literally just let them shine, give them a face, give them some familiarity, and bring them, build that bridge so that there's a sense of family and community all the way down the supply chain, from start to end.
Yeah. And I can say, Mark, cut me off if I'm wrong on this. But the fact is, when you, like, listener, coffee drinker, when you see a coffee bag that we've released multiple times with the same name, there's something brewing. I mean, yes, coffee, but there's also something coming up. We're planning something. We're very intentional about the folks that we want to partner with. So therefore, you all know, you've seen Jorge Mendes' name on there. There's a story coming.
That's right.
We're just trying to get there.
Yeah,
you've seen Dessa Tolajuk on there.
It's a slow crawl.
Tana Luwu, like, you've seen that label. It's a repeat label. Like, we forward booked these coffees. Yes. Like, when we booked Dessa for the first time, when we roasted it and put it on the website, I think within a month we called back. We called Brett and said, "Yo, what can we start planning for the future?" And he's like, "Well, you don't need a plan. Just let me know what you want." And I'm like, no. We want to give you a sense of, like, we want to make a promise. Yeah. Like, we want to at least give you some security and say, next year when you harvest that coffee, we'll be waiting for it. And all of those elements, yes, it's about the coffee. Yes, we're selling a product, but we want to share that story. So I honestly, it's been a long time for me being in Indo, so I really can't wait to visit that area, visit Sulawesi, visit Brett, visit the Sasola squad, and just hang, but also film their stories and shine a light, reflect that story back to everyone 100%. Who's been consuming the coffee, and maybe, who knows, 2-3 harvests, you've been coming back to buy the Dessa, you've been waiting for it, and now with that comes the story, comes the visuals. It's, I don't know, it just doesn't get better than that.
The goal, there's so much things that, friends, we have just brewing in our minds, from NFT projects. I get it. Many of you are thinking NFTs are a scam. That's fine. With time, it'll come. But from NFT projects that might enable you to go to Origin with us would be insane. And that's all in the works. We're slowly getting there. It will be powerful. From putting on some, like, a small little QR code with the story. So every coffee bag, hopefully in the future, every coffee bag will have a story attached to it. So every time you brew, you can pull up your iPhone, watch the video of, somebody, picking some cherries or processing and anaerobic fermentation, a little bit of everything, So, and yeah.
Side note, we have a lineup of gaffers already. People are standing in line volunteering. I know Emily Larson and Micah Jones. They've been in line and they're like, "Are we going to Origin with you?" And I'm like, "Well, as long as you're a gaffer."
We could always use a gaffer. Yeah, that's powerful.
Side note, a gaffer is someone who assists the cinematographer, whether that's holding a boom, tape, I don't know.
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, we could always use somebody like that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and just known supply and partnering with them, but then also like, man, we're so pumped to be dropping another Desatolojuk.
Yeah.
And I remember what you told me and what, we got the message from Indo was saying like the village down there, really, it means a lot to them when their village name is on a bag, is on the label. And for us, that's been like such a powerful thing to be able to put it on the bag and have them come back on our menu. Like, this is just like the ethos. This is the life. This is in all reality, in my opinion, what success means for Mir. And kind of like what you said, like, it feels weird that like it's happening already.
Yeah.
And that's exciting that it's already come so soon. But that helps me to be able to say, man, I need to think bigger. I need to dream. I need to dream further along down the line. How can we, make an impact, a bigger impact on the world? And really, even with Taylor, like, Taylor, what do you need? What do the villages need down there that can help empower them to produce better coffee or to grow better coffee? Yeah. What do is a greenhouse, some drying beds, some refractometer, moisture content, whatever it is, so.
Big stuff. I mean, big stuff. We can go on and on and on talking about this because the future is exciting. There's a lot happening. We're super stoked to go to Origin. I mean, gosh, my brain starts, turning. Like, I'm starting to see drone footage. I'm starting to see just stories brewing, like good stuff coming. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to go back to Indo. It's been way too long. It's been close to 5 years for me since I've been there. So
yeah. I think that's a wrap. This Indo, honestly, if it wasn't this late, which I've already drank too much, it's just taste. It's gonna hit the, just so versatile, so nice. But all right, folks, I think it's a wrap. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Once again, go pick up a hat, go pick up a shirt, go pick up a bag of Desatolojuk. If you can't pick up a bag, pick up a shirt, that's fine. Don't pressure yourself into getting it. Just you simply listening is already enough. It's already been such an awesome thing, building this powerful community that we have here. So, any last words?
Limited stock.
There you have it, folks. All right, friends. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, reflect what's good.